अथ चेत्त्वमिमं धर्म्यं संग्रामं न करिष्यसि ततः स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हित्वा पापमवाप्स्यसि.
If you do not undertake this just battle, you will incur sin, having failed in your duty and honor. So in verse 32, he says, if you act properly, you will benefit, you'll go to heaven. In this verse, he says, if you choose the wrong kind of activity, faulty action, you will incur sin. So the question arises, what is right action? No one in the world knows what right action. All of us plunge into activity. Most of us take the wrong path and end up frustrated and bitter in life. You take a look at, and that's what they call as midlife crisis. Midlife crisis is not according to your age. The midlife crisis comes because you've done all the wrong things. Wrong in the sense, not immoral. Wrong from your point of view. You've chosen the wrong vocation, and in that vocation, you're doing all the wrong things. So first of all, we must know what right action is. Therefore, it is extremely important that young people pick up this knowledge. Not everyone is interested in realization. Not everyone wants to get to Atman. Not everyone is of the caliber of Nachiketas or a Mirabai or a Surdas or a Tukaram. But you don't need to be like that. Every one of us wants three things. One, success, prosperity. Two, what? Happiness. And three, you want to grow to your potential, whatever you're capable of. All three can be achieved only when you pick up this knowledge, because living is not that easy. We have what is known as a mirage effect in life. What is this mirage effect? You know what a real mirage is? You see water in a desert, burning hot desert, where there is only sand because of what we call as an optical illusion, right? In life, this mirage effect is there. What is this mirage effect? What appears to give you pleasure in the beginning gives you excruciating sorrow in the end. And that which is painful in the beginning gives you everlasting happiness in the end. How will you know that? Unless you are taught. In the past, generations of Indians, it didn't matter whether he was a king's son, a prince, or an ordinary citizen. Every single individual was first exposed to this knowledge before he embarked on life's journey. And therefore our country went through the golden age. We experienced the kind of prosperity that was unknown anywhere else in the world. The streets were paved with gold. But an interesting thing was, values were also high. There were no such thing as locks in homes, because nobody would go and help themselves to what was not theirs. It's only when values are high that prosperity is sustained over a period of time. Now here we have not only locks, electronic security, all kinds of security, and still we are tormented and say, when will somebody come and steal my things away? The more you have, the more insecure you are. So that's why we are focusing on school children, we're focusing on young adults in schools and colleges. And this is what will make a huge difference to our future. We're talking about 55% of our population in a few years that is going to be below the age of 25. Tremendous vitality, tremendous energy, tremendous potential. But if you don't give them a sense of direction, what is a huge asset is going to turn out into be a nightmare. Because all that we do is just push information into their minds. Are we empowering them to take the right decisions? Are we giving them the knowledge which will make them happy? Are we giving them the kind of guidance that will help them establish right relationships, make their marriages happy? No. Instead, all we do is visit temples when things go wrong. So you have a son or daughter, they get married and things go wrong in the marriage. All that you do is go on a pilgrimage on 7 temples. That is why Tirupati now is taking a decision that they will, what do they call it? Restrict entry to just once a year. How they're going to do it, I'd like to see. Because there's so much pressure. Krishna says this, help yourself to this. The only person who's responsible for your downfall is you. And the only person who can redeem you is you. So redeem yourself by yourself. It's no use going to temples, churches, or mosques. You're only creating traffic jam there. And more corruption in temples. So it's for each one of you to take on the mantle, the responsibility, and say, to the extent that I have an influence over people, I need to pass this knowledge on. And you can only pass the knowledge on when you have it. I don't mean book knowledge, when you're living these principles. So help yourself to this. First, it starts with books and knowledge from outside. And then you need to reflect over it and live it. And then automatically people will take it from you. Children understand. When I say children, infants can understand the difference between a person who lives just has love and a person who does not have love. Dogs understand, why children? So you can't fake it. You can't pretend. You can't be living low values and expect your children to live high values. So it's a tough call. Therefore, right action is picking your swadharma, fixing a higher ideal. Why must you fix a higher ideal? You don't know anything in the world. You don't know so many things. But the only thing you know is that you have been blessed with millions and millions of things that nature has provided you. If you don't know it, you must first know that. And when you come to the awareness that you have received so much in life, automatically you develop this attitude of giving. Intense, irresistible desire to give back to whoever has given whatever you've received. So look for opportunities to serve. People, our mindset is totally the other way around. You're looking for discounts. And not only do you want to negotiate well, you attend seminars to cultivate negotiating skills. Which means what? You drive a hard bargain. Change your mindset. The next time you go shopping, particularly with vegetable vendors, I've seen multi-millionaires bargain with vegetable vendors. I don't see the rationale behind it. You go to a vegetable vendor just for the fun of it and ask him what is the price of whichever vegetable. Suppose he says 35 rupees per quarter. You say, I'll give you 50 and watch the fun. Just watch the fun. He won't even believe, because he's so used to people bargaining with him. The first thing he'll say is, no. And when finally the idea sinks in, he'll say, nahi saab, I don't want, I only want 35. When you have an attitude of giving, nobody will want to take from you. So, try it out. You've lived your life in a certain way, and it's given you whatever results you have. Change. Just experiment with it and see what wonderful results you get. The other day a maid said, it's difficult. She was preparing the ground for more money. So midway through a sentence, I said, okay, done. How much do you want? You know what she said? No, I don't want. The moment you're willing to give, people don't want. Then you're not driven by likes and dislikes, and your desires reduce. That is the ultimate objective. Why do your desires reduce? Because all your attention is fixed around a higher ideal. You're not feeding, you're not nourishing your lower desires, so they reduce. Wrong action is where you pick up paradharma activity. Why do you do that? Because you think you'll make money there. Next, driven by personal interest. And in that field, you're constantly operating on likes and dislikes. And therefore, your desires increase. You see, what you need to understand is, in the end, everyone wants more than just a big home, plush carpet, fancy cars. After that, you ask yourself, now what? What's next? But by then it's too late, because you've already invested all your life in just accumulating this. Vedanta is not against it. Bhagavad Gita is not against prosperity. By all means, gain whatever you want from the world. But alongside, just 2% of your energies, invest in developing yourself and see what a fabulous result you'll get. First of all, you will be able to enjoy what you have acquired. Most people don't enjoy what they have acquired. They don't even have the time to spend it. You know, we travel to the United States every year. Once I was with a family in, I forget the place, and it was a huge house on the lakeside. So you go down a flight of steps and there's a lake, there's a private lake that they had. And they had a very fancy yacht. But I looked at it and it looked completely unused. So I asked the couple, when was the last time you went on a ride in this yacht? And the husband said, you know what, we bought it a year back. We have never had the time to actually go on a ride. So since you've come, we'll go. The first time he entered the yacht that he himself had bought was 1 year after he bought it. Why? Because he doesn't have the time. He's running all over the world. So we don't enjoy what we have acquired. Why do you acquire if you're not going to enjoy it? Enjoyment is also a skill. You need to know how to enjoy the world. And that's what the Gita gives. Next verse.